All right, and we are live with PHU Dynasty Podcast, episode 105, bringing you a Week 6 recap, a Week 7 preview. After last week's superlatives, we had another excellent week of games, a couple really good matchups this past week as well. So we're going to get into that in just a moment, but before we begin that, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the kind of rumors that have flown around. At least it feels like today. Um, I'll be honest with you, Sean. I haven't been 100% following what's been going on today, so I'm going to use you as my eyes and ears for this one and kind of react live, basically, because I haven't heard a lot of these probably. So I am looking forward to hearing what's out there. So what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like people have really jumped on like the trade deadline bandwagon like super early this year, and like
Yeah,
whether
when
it's
is the trade deadline?
I like November, I think early
That's
November.
that's
So we
crazy.
got
I'm gonna look it up real
more
quick.
weeks, 2 or 3 more weeks, I think at least.
I guess if
Maybe
you're,
we'll just start
like
like
if
yeah,
you're a
good.
team like the Jets who are like basically obviously out of it already, like it
Yeah.
does make sense to try to get off of them earlier if you can before they get hurt or something. It's
Mhm.
November 4th.
Okay, so we got 3 more NFL weeks, right?
At least a couple more, yeah. So
So I mean, like some of them are names that I've heard, and some of them just kind of like make sense based off of where the team is at. So like I think some of the bigger ones that have really been like kind of paraded through like different media so far have been like Jacoby Myers, Brees Hall, Chris Olave or Rashid Shaheed in New Orleans. And then I know we've talked a lot about like DJ Moore as a
yeah.
potential guy. And then I've written down some other ones, but I it's really just about like what I want to ask is like, where do you think makes sense for some of these bigger names like to go, or like where we would like to see that like from a fantasy aspect? So we can just rapid fire through all the names that I have written down.
Yeah.
So starting at the top, Jacoby Myers just feels like he's on the move somewhere. He was held out of practice today for an injury that never has been disclosed before,
Huh. So that's an
which
interesting
is
one.
but it's a
I
Wednesday,
mean,
so veteran deference is also a thing that happens. But
yeah. I don't know. Like he seems like a guy obviously before the season there was some rumors on him already.
mhm.
Like right before the start of the season. So like I feel like where there's smoke, there might be some fire on that one. I mean, he just seems like such a Patriot guy at this point. Like not a Patriot, but like I'm thinking like Steelers at this point. Like kind of that kind of adds up.
The Steelers are the team that makes sense to me. He's a guy that can play inside outside, but is not an X receiver, which is kind of perfect because they've got that already. So I was thinking there. I was thinking potentially like a Commanders type of team as well, because it feels like they are like just in need of like another body there, and he's on a good contract. So I just he seems like a guy that's going to be on the move, which for him currently probably good fantasy wise because
Yeah, I mean he's got to get the hell away from Gino at this point. I mean he's basically unplayable until otherwise. I mean I've kind of thought about Um, like I know your Torrey Horton stocks hate to hear this, but like Seattle seems like maybe an interesting spot as well if they want to kind of upgrade on that third spot. I just feel like there's a lot of these teams that, I mean, like with injuries happening and stuff recently too. Like any team that's like somewhat in the hunt would want a guy like Jacoby Myers because, like you said, he could play all these different spots. So
mm,
he feels like an easy guy to trade for, and he's not going to cost a ton, which is nice. So as opposed to like some of these other bigger name guys maybe. So
yeah, he's on a great contract, so it's going to make him desirable for sure.
yeah, I feel like he'll be an interesting name to watch. Who else do you got?
This one kind of a curveball, but because it's not a direct fantasy, but I saw Jack Conklin as a name that came up as a potential trade away target for the Browns, which for a lot of teams right now, there's a lot of teams that are on like their third string tackles and whatnot. And just a guy to like keep an eye out because that can honestly help and helps everybody if that happens.
I mean,
So
like Chargers really need the help bad.
Chargers, Falcons, right
Falcons need it
now
bad.
very badly. I'm sure there are a couple other teams out there, but that was just the name I saw, and I was like, huh, That's not a name. That's not a
Yeah,
kind of.
that's not like it's not a sexy name to throw out there. We'll put it that way, but it's it's important for. I mean, it's gonna suck for Quinshon too if he leaves. So
Right. Yeah, that's also important. But that's a name that I saw because they posted like a bunch of vets. The other name on that team, two names would be Jerome Ford and David Njoku as well,
oh,
which Jerome Ford makes a lot of sense with Judkins kind of breaking out, and they've already drafted Dylan Sampson for the future. So as long as they get comfortable with one of those two guys in like a pass pro or 2 minute setting, like they really don't need him, and they really don't really show a lot of interest in playing him anyway. So
I just don't know who wants Jerome Ford. Like
yeah,
what are you gonna pay?
that's
Like
gonna be like a conditional
seventh
sixth
rounder?
or seventh kind of pick swap, and you get the player kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe a desperate team
Hmm.
might do it, but I think like he's just not a guy that like Njoku makes a lot more sense because I think he's on the last year of his deal.
Yeah, so you'd be trading for him to most likely sign him to an extension, which he's like in his early 30s. He's 31.
I think he has. I would say 29, 30, 31, something like that.
So that's going to be like a final contract for a guy that's still good. So
Yeah, he's a great blocker. I mean, he just does. I just feel like he's never. There's got to be some. Like I don't know if he's going to end up being a guy that's just better in a different situation. But then also part of me says that like, oh, every time like he had a good game, it was because the quarterback play was better for some reason. Like whether it was the QB just play had a good game or Joe Flacco came in or something, like there was just some reason why he always played and had those better games. So it leads me to believe that there's still some untapped potential if he can just get the hell out of Cleveland and go to any team that even remotely uses him with a decent quarterback. Like I feel like he'll be more fantasy relevant than he is now, I guess is the point. So
yeah, for sure. I
I like him.
Yeah, I can't think of a team off the top of my head with a tight end, like a huge tight end.
I
I'm
think
sure
like the
that's there,
Texans
but
really need one. Like
yeah,
they need somebody that can actually move because like Dalton Schultz looks like he's running in fucking quicksand half the time.
he looked like that when he started playing football.
Yeah, I mean that's not the Cowboys love those guys. Like when they draft those 4-9 tight ends, but
Very true.
um yeah, but I like him. I feel like he could go to a couple of different places that like maybe like the thing is nobody like truly like needs a tight end. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's gonna overspend for a tight end. I think at this point, unless it's like a really great player. But
Yeah,
I don't think anybody's gonna go out and blow the bank for Njoku personally, especially when he's on a contract that's pretty heavy right now.
yeah, very fair. Okay, the big ticket I think out of this entire list from a fantasy perspective is Brees Hall, which I
Yeah,
mean he's out there. I mean he's tweeting "free me." So
make it happen.
I mean
Somebody make it happen.
to the point where the team had to come out and say that like there are no substantiated rumors about us trading him. So that means he's definitely going to
He's gone. He's gone.
is the Jets.
It's the same thing that happened with fucking Jalen Polk earlier in the year. They said, "Oh, we're looking at all options," and then he was traded like 2 weeks later. So it's like
Yeah.
he's gone. And like obviously, like you said, the Chiefs, Chargers, even at least for this year, like either one of those situations would just be awesome for him.
Mhm.
Just in terms of usage, like if he goes to the Chiefs, he's a perfect back for that team, and it would make me really upset as an NFL fan, but as a fantasy fan, like
That's
that's
cool.
as good a spot as you could possibly
Yeah.
ask for.
I think Houston is a possibility
Houston
there.
works.
Apparently, as of like today, the Patriots are an option
That's weird, but yeah.
because I mean, they're running back. Like they really haven't gotten anything from
So
the
I gotta
running
tell
back.
you, I spent a decent amount of time watching the Patriots' last two games. I specifically wanted to watch their running plays because I was like, something's broken here. Like this shouldn't be this way with Travion specifically because he's just too talented of a back for this to
Just
be
got that
happening.
blocking air.
It's they're good on the first level. The second anything has to get to the second level, they shit their pants. They don't know what to do. Everybody like their dual blocking is terrible. There's constantly like options for the guard to pull off of the tackle, get to that second level linebacker, and he just doesn't do it in time, and he's getting stopped for a 2-yard loss. Like it's just their blocking isn't good enough right now, and I don't think it's a running back fix at the moment until they can like gel more. So like that would lead me to believe that maybe they don't trade for a running back because they probably see it on tape too. It's like it doesn't matter who we have back here right now because if they're getting tackled at the line of scrimmage, it's not going to matter much. But especially like I don't even know, what do you think it would cost to get a guy like Hall? Like what would the draft pick compensation be?
It's a good question. He's a guy that, like, because of the talent, he'd probably have multiple teams interested, and if that's the case, it could probably be a little higher than maybe we would expect given what the value usually is for running back. But I mean, I would probably feel comfortable trading, like, I mean, if you're going to re-sign him, probably like a third-round pick for him just based off of the talent.
Yeah, I mean, he was drafted in the second, and this is the last year of his deal as well, which kind of muddies the water a little bit. So, like, yeah, I would say like maybe if there's some actual competition, maybe a third, probably more likely like a 4.
And at that point, I just don't know if the Jets, like, what's in it for the Jets to get a non-top 100 pick for that guy? I don't know.
So well, the thing is, he's going to leave in free agency regardless, so he's going to get a compensatory pick. So if it's not a third rounder, I don't think they trade him because I'm pretty sure he'll get a decent enough contract in the free agency market that they'll get a third back anyway. Yep. So I don't know why they would just do it unless they like the real reason to make the trade is to trade him for a third so that it's higher than the compensatory pick that they would be getting back in return.
Right.
So I think that's the only real way it makes sense. Actually, now that we've kind of talked it through, I don't think a 4 even makes sense at all. So it's just going to be about who's going to want to do that for a guy that's going to play maybe 12 games for you. Like is that worth it?
Yeah, it's going to be one of those deals where like the extension is in place when the trade happens, I imagine.
Yeah, but that'll be an interesting. I mean, if that happens, that'll be huge for fantasy.
All right, the Saints receivers, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. I personally, if I'm the Saints, I wouldn't be interested in trading with those guys, but it's just come up a lot at this point that they would be willing to potentially move on from some of their veteran players, unless it's Alvin Kamara who says he doesn't want to be moved, which is hilarious.
Completely insane.
But I find Olave to be very tricky because he's awesome, but there is just a lot of baggage.
These kids have so many problems. Like my problem with Olave, he's under contract for next season at $15 million.
Mm-hmm.
He's a UFA in 27. It's a great deal for the player. He's only 25. So it's not like he's not hurting the Saints cap situation. So like you have a young quarterback, like if you want to give him any chance to succeed, I feel like you need to keep the young quarter, like keep the kind of at least the reliable guys. Like Olave is very reliable when he's on the field. Mm-hmm. So like I feel like Shaheed makes more sense to trade because he is a UFA after this year. He's probably going to get paid a decent amount. He's making $4 million right now. He's already 27 as well, and the Saints are in cap hell still. So like, are they really going to spend up for Rashid Shaheed? They just traded for Devon Vele. They traded for Jalen Polk. They still have Brandon Cooks under contract for next season as well. It was a 2-year deal.
Classic. I'm sure.
So it's like, so what do we? Actually, that's a hilarious thing. He's getting paid $8 million next year. It's like, why?
So, as soon as what pops in my head is for Shaheed, what team out there that we've talked about recently just has no speed?
Well, it's the Cardinals.
It's the Cardinals. What a perfect fit.
I mean, the Cardinals, like, I don't think there is a better fit. So even if he doesn't trade, get traded in this time frame, like he's the obvious choice to sign them, in the offseason. I mean, like they have the cap space for it too. So, I mean, that's a great fit. If for Olave, like if we're saying like matchmaker's sake, like where does that make sense?
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
I would love that. I think Shaheed's going to be one of those receivers, maybe a la like a Christian Kirk that gets a contract and everybody's like, whoa. So just because of this, what he's been able to do with maybe a limited passing game out of New Orleans was probably friendly to say. But I think he's a guy that's probably going to get paid more than like what everybody would expect. So
you're saying for Shaheed?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Olave is going to be, as long as he stays on the field through the rest of this year, he's definitely a guy that's going to be paid pretty well, even with the injury history, just because of what you can get out of him. But I think
Yeah, but he's
Shaheed.
still under contract for next year, so that's the nice
That's
thing.
what I know, but I'm talking about long term for the Saints. Like if they're picking
Oh
between
yeah,
two guys, they're probably going to pick Olave, just
yeah.
because they
Like, do
have
you
so much
really want to
investment in him.
give Shaheed, who's gonna be 28 next year, like he's gonna make so Tutu Atwell's getting that 1 year $10 million deal. He's clearly gonna get at least 15 to 17 probably,
In my mind, with the cap where it is, I'm thinking 20.
which is crazy to think about, but that's probably right. Like, so if he's gonna
Mhm.
get 20, like I don't see the Saints doing that, nor could they afford it. So
No.
he's the logical choice to get traded, really.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a big market when he's a free agent. So that'll
He'll be
be
better too wherever else he goes next, I think too.
one to monitor. Okay, one that we can talk about for about 5 seconds because I just don't think it's going to happen unless some crazy shit happens. But AJ Brown.
I mean, if he gets traded, it's going to be probably better for his fantasy outlook. Probably.
So the only way I see this happening is if two things. The Eagles believe that he is potentially damaged goods going forward, or like future damaged goods with his injury history with his knee. Plus, somebody just overpays, and Howie just
Yeah.
has to take the value, which overpaying for AJ Brown is probably a first plus.
And he's on
So
a decent. What kind of deal is he on?
he just signed an extension last
Let's take a
offseason
look.
before the Super Bowl year. So
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, if he's
I
a
mean,
guy that's got a couple of years left on the deal too, that makes things probably a little easier, unless it's like a stupid deal. All right, so he is on a 3-year, $96 million deal. He's in the wait. He signed an extension on top of that.
yeah.
So he was under contract until 26. Now he's under contract till 2029.
Mm-hmm.
His age 32 season, his cap hit for next year is 23 mil. They do have an out of the contract where they could get out after 27. So 2 more years. So like his cap hit is between 23, 22, 27, 29 in the next 5 years. So it's not cheap, but I don't think he's washed or anything. It's just like you said, damaged goods and knee injury and the other stuff. So like you're gonna have to be able to take on a hefty contract to make that make sense. So I don't know who would do that.
I heard on a separate podcast that he did an interview where he was talking about where he was getting 2 injections before every game last season during the Super Bowl run
That just does
in
not
his
feel
knee.
good.
Which, I mean, usually if you get a healthy knee, that's not something that happens. So,
Yeah, I don't feel like if you have a good
that's,
knee, you're not getting injections probably.
yeah. So that's just something to keep an eye on. I feel like the only way is if both of those things happen at the same time, where they just feel like it's going to go downhill and they're going to get the value that they think way exceeds what his current value is. Also, if they're going to keep playing like they did last Thursday, that is also going to fuel that fire. So,
Yeah, and he's also been, I don't want to say a headache, but it's at least a storyline that's annoying. You know, it's kind of a nagging storyline, if that makes sense. Like it's just a weird media vibe, even though there's really not been a whole lot to truly talk about. But
yeah,
there's always a story.
it's a double-edged sword with Philly media because they have the biggest or one of the biggest media rooms in the NFL. So you're just going to get more stories just by volume. So it's tough. Like it's what's going to happen because
I would just be very surprised if he
he
got.
really isn't like a To style like diva. He's not. He's got personality, but like I don't think he's like that mold of receiver.
Yeah, I mean it's
So
a run first team with a guy that like he's getting like when he's not hitting hard, he's getting like 2 targets a game. Like you can't really blame him too much. Like it's like
he's top 10 in target share by percentage in the NFL as a
that's
receiver.
crazy.
So
That's crazy.
Once again, the biggest problem with the Eagles is that their scheme is awful. It's god awful.
Yeah, we talked about that last week where it just doesn't feel good compared to what it was last year. So
yeah, if you just look at like the route maps of AJ Brown and Devontae Smith versus like most any other team in the league, it's just hilarious like how little they do.
it's the Cliff Kingsbury, DeAndre Hopkins route tree.
It's pretty much.
It's disgusting.
All right, I could talk about the Eagles all day, but next one on the list, DJ Moore. I
I mean,
think this
that's another
one,
one.
it's going to be tough if they're going to be an above 500 team the rest of the season, but I just think Luther Burden is going to keep coming on. I mean, he had the most catches on the team on Monday night. He looked good. DJ Moore got a little banged up. Kind of, I think he like took a shot to the nuts or something like that. Had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, I think it was a nut twister or something there. Okay, this contract is fucking terrible, Sean. This might be one of the worst ones out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's under contract for the next 5 seasons at 28 million on average, and there's a potential out after this season. You would have to take an $83 million dead cap to cut him after this year. So this is bad. This is bad news. I don't know who would take this on unless you think he's going to get back to, that very quality receiver like he's kind of been the most of his career, but he's getting older. So it's like, do you think he's going to be able, like his game is explosion based. So if
I,
you think he's going to be that guy, does
I
anybody make that move?
I think the very best that they could probably get for DJ Moore is like a low second round pick based off of the contract and everything. And I think that might be
I'm not
aggressive.
paying that.
And I don't know. I don't know if that's something the Bears would be interested. He's still a talented guy. It's like I'm sure
I think,
they would want back as a first for a guy that I mean, that was kind of what his value was and what they traded for.
yeah, I mean, the contract that he's on now would basically be expiring like when all the other guys probably eventually have to get paid, like the Odunze, Caleb Williams, that all the newer folks that are, actually like the core of the team. So like, I don't think it's like absolute albatross right now, but in a couple of years, it definitely could be, and it'll be even harder to trade him at that point. So like, if you want peak value, like now is probably the time, but you're going to have, it's all a matchmaker thing. Like you got to find somebody with $28 million of cap space for the next 5 years.
It's got to be like a rookie quarterback team or like
it would have to
contract quarterback team, which I mean they're out there, but
it's gonna have to be a dumb team like the Titans.
That's very possible.
It's got to be a dumb team or like the Jags.
Calvin Ridley is also on my list of players to trade away. So
I mean,
we talk about that. He's actually next on the list.
A little younger, like So I mean, Calvin's an interesting one too because that team is literal dog crap. They're horrible, and I don't. Let me look at his contract. I don't even know what's going on there.
It's not good.
I remember that was a bad one too at the time. It's probably even worse now. Let's see here, Calvin Ridley.
If I remember correctly, I think you said it was like almost untradeable when we looked at it before.
All right, so 2025 this year, he's got a $28 million cap hit for this season. That's 10% of the Titans cap as it stands right now. He has a potential out after this year. They can get out with a $16 million dead cap, but he is technically under contract for 2 more seasons at 26 and 27 mil cap hit. So that's just tough. For a guy that's already 30, he will be 31 by the end of the season. So I don't love that. I just feel like I feel like you could trade this one because you can get out of it relatively easily next year. So that one's probably more tradable. But is is he really worth investing heavily in with draft capital? Like, I don't think so. Probably not. Like, he's too old.
You're not going to get much back for him. It's just going to be
like a 4 or 5, something like that.
It's literally just going to be like, okay, we're literally clearing house and like starting over.
Which, like, maybe that makes sense at the end of the year. Maybe in the offseason he gets traded or something. Like, that seems more likely. Because if you're really if the whole point of this is to make Cam Ward work, I feel like it would not be good for his development to give him absolutely nothing to throw to. Like, I feel like that would kind of suck. So at least finish the year with them, maybe. But we'll see.
Agreed. All right. Next one, Christian Kirk. Just based off of the fact that they have so many damn receivers on that team. And he seems like a perfect Steelers guy to me to fit with DK Metcalf, just as like you're not going to have to pay that much and you get another receiver out there. I think also the Falcons would make a lot of sense for Kirk.
So he's going to be a true unrestricted free agent after the year. His cap hit is only $4 million for this year, so very tradable. I mean, he seems like actually now kind of like if you're going based on like historical, who likes to pay people, who doesn't like to pay people, like Steelers love those kind of value contracts. It definitely adds up. Like that makes a lot of sense to let's just get this guy in for like literally a quarter on a dollar and let's just see if we can make it work at least as a number 2 because he would be an instant upgrade over everybody they have there, even though I don't think he's very good anymore, which is tough. So
He fits right in.
Yeah, it's perfect for them. So
that was a game that made sense to me that hasn't come up, but I imagine there's a very good chance that he doesn't finish the year on Houston just with all the rookies and their love of Xavier Hutchinson.
Yeah, Hutchinson seems to be a thing now, so who knew?
So, all right. Running back
State receivers.
Running back trend here. Rico Dowdle. This came up because I just put this one out here because of our in the chat earlier. I just like if Carolina, like I don't like you can get value for a running back that really is on a 1-year deal that's probably not going to sign back with you because he's going to get, I would imagine, like a decent contract after this.
I got to tell you, Sean, I think I don't think it's going to happen, and the reason for that is like not that he's not going to get a contract. I just don't think he's going to get traded because literally Canales was like on the hot seat 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And the only reason he's not on the hot seat basically at this point is Rico Dowdle. So I don't feel like it would be like this. We're talking to guys rushed for 200 yards basically 2 weeks in a row. Granted, they're horrible defenses that they played against, but to trade away a guy like that, who's kind of the engine of the offense at this point, and the guy that essentially saved your job, I don't think Dave Canales would sign off on that, no matter what the comp was.
So, another question for you then: do they trade Chuba?
No, he's a team captain. I don't think there's any way. I think they love him too much. So, like, I just think they're just gonna stick with the running backs.
Third question: how does that make you feel as the fantasy manager?
I hate it. I hate it more than anything.
This was the real reason I put this on here, is I wanted to ask you.
I did this too. I tried the handcuff situation for both the Panthers and the Chargers, and really both of them are kind of screwing me at this point.
Completely worked out terribly, but in different.
It worked out great for the last couple of weeks, but now I think it's gonna be a problem moving forward.
Yeah.
The thing is, if Rico's running as hot as he is right now, and how good he played last year, like Chuba's going to have to get something taken away because he has been banged up all year to start the year. He's been hurt every single week in some capacity. He's also not running the ball well when he has played. So I think it's probably just going to end up being some sort of split, but I think the efficiency of Dowdle could be good enough to make him like at least still a quality start in most leagues. So I'm not too worried, but like at the same time, I loved it when he got 30 carries. It felt real good. So I would rather have that. So I don't know. If Chuba want to take a year off, I wouldn't be upset. So
all right, I'll pull you out of hell here then. All right. This one is really just for me to just save this guy from hell, and that's Tony Pollard.
Get him out.
Just somebody save this guy.
Same thing with Njoku, frankly. Just get him out of there. Yeah. Same thing with Breece Hall. Get him out of there.
Yeah, Pollard is a quality player that you probably won't have to pay that much for to get out of Tennessee.
Yeah, I think he's he's got a reasonable contract. They have Spears back now, so that's not really much of an issue. Yeah, I mean, like it's just going to be like, what are you going to get for him, and who would even make the move at this point? Because I mean, Pollard is good, but he's not Breece Hall. Like he's not young, he's not explosive.
He's not gonna. If he misses a game, the betting line isn't going to shift.
No, it's and that's I think that's going to make him harder to trade when there's actually like a legitimately decent running back trade market this year. Mm-hmm. So like I feel like he would be one of the lower ones because of the contract's probably higher than most teams really want to pay, and you could get Breece Hall on a rookie deal, you could get Rico Dowdle on cheap, like you're saying, like maybe. There's going to be other options, and I feel like he might not be that prioritized. But if he did get traded, I would not be shocked. So it's an interesting name.
All right, next one, because this one feels like after what happened last week, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna put Tyrone Tracy out there on the trade block.
That's a great tradable guy because, like, my redraft team would love that because he's been literally the biggest clock possible, like biggest clock you can ask for. He's talented. That's the thing. Like we saw it last year. He did good stuff with a very bad team. I don't see, and he's on a very cheap deal.
and he's kind of already had like a little bit of a scuffle between him and the coaching staff, which makes me
Yeah,
think that maybe he is very expendable for them. They
and
love
Pittsburgh still
Singletary, and they
they
obviously
do.
are in love with Scatabo. So,
He's not gonna play. He's not gonna play. He
so
got 4 carries last week. That was it.
yeah, I mean, you could put him in multiple different teams. He kind of fits. Like he can
Chiefs would
do
be fun.
whatever you need. Chiefs would be great. That feels bad for the Brashard Smith, but
It does, yeah. That does hurt.
I think he's like would be a great complimentary back for when Hampton comes back too.
Yeah, I think that would be good. I just think
Yeah,
I don't think he is worth anything in pass protection. So
yeah,
I feel like
he's
that's a problem for his, because like if you're gonna be a third down back, you got to block. Like you can't just
mhm.
like that's kind of what he is at this point. I think he's a better runner than he is third down back. So I
Yep,
would like to see. I mean, of course, like was a former receiver, so he can catch well. But I would love to see him end up in a situation where he is like the in the Tyjae Spears role of 1B, where he's getting 45% of the snaps, and get him on screen plays, get him on running plays up the middle. Like he's good at it, so might as well do it.
agreed. He's like the more you give him, it's diminishing returns kind of
You don't
player.
want him to touch the ball 18 times a game.
Yep.
Like I think he's a 12 touch a game guy, which is for fantasy not ideal, but really could be great in the NFL. Like if you can get him paired up with a power back, that'd be awesome.
Chicago. All right.
It's another great choice.
Very similar.
I mean, Swift played good last week.
They're very redundant.
I've been talking a lot of shit about Swift on this podcast. He played well last week.
I am gonna still give him very little credit for that game because his average yards before contact in that game was 4 yards.
Wow. So he had lanes.
Yeah.
He had Jalen lanes.
When you're fast and you have 4 yards of a head start, like I don't give a shit. Like you could be the most replacement level back in the NFL, you're gonna have a good game. So
he looked good.
I don't care.
But he looked good for a reason, though, clearly. So
okay.
Almanaga also looked good last game.
Right. All right. Next one up. The 3-pack of Packers receivers. Take your pick. Dobbs, Wicks, Watson. They just have so many guys. Like
the thing is, none of them are really all that good.
I think Wicks is intriguing enough for other teams because he's flashed.
I think Dobbs is too.
Dobbs is kind of more boring, and
Dobbs is the Marvin Jones of the modern day Marvin Jones. He catches touchdowns. He makes crazy plays. He never separates. He's the modern day Marvin Jones. But he's not as good because everybody loves Marvin Jones.
So Malcolm Floyd.
Yeah, Malcolm Floyd's not a bad idea. It's not that bad of a comp, really. He's just a lot shorter, but
yeah.
But yeah, like that kind of guy has value though. Like I feel like there's like a team that would want him as like a solid 3 red zone option. Like I could see that, and he's on a cheap deal again as he like
another Arizona like Watson or Wicks on the outside to pair with Marv, and McBride just feels like it makes a lot of sense to me. So
yeah, it does. They just need speed in any way, shape, or form. Like I watched that game briefly last week, and I wish I didn't. It was Marvin got hurt, and then it was like Michael Wilson and Zay Jones. And I was like, this is the slowest shit I've ever seen. It's like it looked like everybody was just running in quicksand out there. It was horrible.
But so Dan was making all the contested catches in that game. It was crazy.
Yeah, that just
making Jacoby Brissett look like
he looked good.
Man,
he did. Tyler.
Well, yeah, he can throw to the middle of the field.
He can actually play the game.
It's amazing how you can be a quarterback when you can actually throw to the entire field.
It'd be really nice if they had that team is just fucking bad, dude. Like they just start playing Bam Knight at running back. It's just a bad team right now. It's not a good team. I like Bam Knight too.
Okay. All right. Quarterback corner here. Kirk Cousins still on the Falcons.
Still selling real fake doors.
Would this be a rare Cousins for another player trade for the Falcons to get somebody back instead of a pick? Because
I think it almost has to because of the contract.
They look good. They have that weird ass Panthers game where they didn't score. And outside
they didn't even show up to the game.
They've looked really good in every game. And the Bucs.
Yeah, this past game was really good. I think it has to be a player for player only because who the hell is going to take Cousins' contract? Like that was just horrible.
Yeah.
Like you got to have $1 zillion of cap space. So to me, it's got to be like they almost have to trade for a guy like Calvin Ridley or DJ Moore, like somebody kind of offset the contract a little bit because it's so shitty.
Yeah, I mean there were rumors for him to go back to Minnesota. I don't know if that's going to make any sense at this point.
They probably have the potential to keep him with like their rookie deal situation.
There were rumors of him going to Cleveland, which I don't
That's
know if
just
that makes any sense at this point. They don't have
I
any
don't think it
playoff
does.
aspirations. So unless there's like a injury or something like that on top of whatever's happened so far, like I just don't know if that's going to happen. But like he just is a very tradable player.
Sean, this contract is I think this is actually untradeable. I think they're stuck.
Not good. It's not good.
Okay, so he's getting his cap hit this year is 40 mil. His cap hit next year is $57.5 million.
Nice.
The year after is $57.5 million. So they have essentially a Dak Prescott a light contract for a guy that's not playing. So I don't know how the hell you get rid of. It's never been
gotta
done.
imagine there's some kind of cap gymnastics that you can pull to bullshit your way around that because the
It
cap
doesn't even
exist.
say. Usually, Spot Rack is good. It doesn't even say potential out. His potential out is this year for a $95 million dead cap hit. I don't think it's possible. I don't know. They would have to do some sort of like, you take half the contract, we take half the contract situation. But even then, whatever team takes him on has to have him for 2 more years. Like, there's no other way until he's 40. So this is just horrible mismanagement by the Falcons. I mean, it's just embarrassing. But at least they have a quarterback that's functioning, so that's good. But
yeah, very true. Okay. Last couple, I put Russ and Jameis, but I don't really care that much if they get traded. But
I would love if Jameis gets traded anywhere because it's automatically more exciting for fantasy.
Yeah, I can't believe he's not a Bengal. Pisses me off.
God, we should. We were this close. This close.
And then the last name on this list, I have Juwan Jennings for the Niners. With all the guys coming back, he had a little bit of a.
Did he get paid?
He got like a $2 million bump for this year, but he's a free agent after this year.
So they gave him like a mini pay raise, if you will.
He has been essentially
just to shut him up.
Yeah, but he's essentially been like just pushed to the side by Kendrick Bourne at this point on that team because they're both just I said it and I got. It's funny. It's 2 years ago I said Juwan Jennings is a thing, and I was told, nah, he's not. He sucks. And now that he's a thing, I said he's not really that great, and I've gotten pushback that way too. So
yeah, I think Juwan Jennings, like he definitely went from like being like undervalued to completely overvalued. So I agree with that. But
I think he's just a Jag that's in a good offense.
Yeah, I think like to me, honestly, he's probably not a whole lot better than a guy like Romeo Doubs. Like he's kind of a similar player. So he is a free agent after this year. They gave him a $2 million raise on his I believe 7th round rookie deal, which had a $2 million cap hit. So he's making 4 now. So big money.
But he has value in a guy that can just move the sticks and be big and get the ball and get you first downs. Like that's
I mean, there's a market for that.
Play receiver or anything like that, and that's got value in the league. Like think of like a Commanders team that doesn't have a lot of like wide receiver depth, or Pittsburgh. Once again, Pittsburgh would be a great fit.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Literally any player on Pittsburgh at this point, outside of the running backs.
Once again, Atlanta does not have a lot of wide receiver depth. I think all those would be good choices. So
yeah, Atlanta's struggling without Mooney.
But
I'm good with any of that.
That's the list. Those are all the guys.
Pretty good list. I mean, that's a lot of guys. That's more than usual. I feel like
it just feels very chattery this year for some reason.
I mean, considering we're 3 weeks ish away from. I mean, it is pretty impressive that we're getting this much chatter. I did see the Jacoby Myers one, but I didn't see any of the other ones. So very interesting stuff. All right, let's get into the recap from last week. We have a few games to talk about. We're going to try to get through these pretty quick here. So let's start at the top with the Armadillos versus Battle Axes, a 188-113 win for the Armadillos. We were cooking in the Discord when we were watching the game. It felt like my guys just kept scoring over and over. So it was very, very pleasing for me with having McCaffrey getting his first rushing touchdown of the year. Achane picking up. Yeah, that's crazy to say. He's been terribly inefficient, but he's at least putting up the numbers on volume. Achane had a great week this week. His best game of the season is one of his best games pretty much of the last couple seasons, frankly. And then Pickens with the blow-up game as well. Felt like he just kept getting targeted all game, and he's been just so good. I believe he's the wide receiver 1 for the year, which is crazy.
Yes, sir. Hot take.
And
Nailed it.
yeah, that was that one hit. That one hit, and I'm very happy that you called that correctly. Rico Dowdle, man, last week. I mean, we talked about him a little bit here. 183, 30 carries, which I love a good 30 carry game. It just makes me feel good.
Did you see his quote after the game?
I did not.
So the quote before that week was like they asked him what the Cowboys should do to prepare for him, and all he said was "buckle up."
Oh boy,
which is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean the revenge game was just too perfect.
They asked him for the follow-up quote after the game. He's like,
"Buckle up, Buckaroos."
Buckle up.
I love it.
I love it so
Dude,
much.
Dallas's run defense is a fucking disaster. Going to Scavelli's side, Saquon again, just not a great week for him. It's 3 straight kind of poor. I mean, really 4 straight yardage performances that are just not very good. Good run defenses, though, he's been playing for the most part. I'll say that.
His stats are exactly the same as last year, except for the fact that he's not hitting 50-yarders. That's the only difference.
I think I read somewhere that Rico Dowdle in 2 games had more rushing yards than all of Saquon Barkley's games.
I think it's total yards, but yes.
That's insane. Put money on that at the beginning of the year. I would have never have guessed that. Unfortunately, Scavelli's receivers had a pretty rough day out there. Stephon Diggs didn't do much there. He was also injured this week in practices, I'm seeing. Higgins was fine, I guess, at 6.2, but Keenan didn't do much.
The Higgins one is actually encouraging to me.
That feels good. Yeah, with 8 targets, that does feel better.
Yeah, considering where it's been, that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, Michael Mayer, revenge game against the Armadillos. I thought that was kind of fun. At least gave him 11 points. Good players stuck in an interesting situation. Harold Fannon's a real thing. I know that we've been talking about him a lot on this podcast, but he's been really good.
I feel good about that hot take too.
Yeah, Hank is the guy. Tony Pollard, not a great game, and then the ice cream man himself, Ramondre Stevenson, just horrible game.
That's a brutal stat.
Really bad. I know I was just talking about how bad the Patriots offensive line is, but they're like Stevenson still is just not helping the cause. And then a good defensive week for both teams here, but Scavelli's team just kind of didn't put up the huge numbers for really any of his players. There wasn't like any of those like big breakout games. So he ends up with 113. I think Scavelli might be in a little bit of trouble here, Sean. I know like we've talked a lot about how Scavelli kind of just makes things work out. And he even this week kind of like had to tinker with the lineup, getting a Mayer in there, getting a Hank in there in the tight end spot. But I think we're just running out of depth on this team, Sean. And it's that's kind of what we were worried about in the preseason. I mean, he's got a couple of guys, but with Kittle being out, that hurts. And then really outside of a couple of guys, there's just not a lot of options.
He needs Mike Evans, Kittle, and Bucky back in the worst way.
Yeah, and this was the fear heading into the year. We were worried like if Scavelli like had a couple injuries, would he have the depth to make it happen? And he's still 3-3 and definitely in the thick of it. But how well is this gonna hold up? Moving forward, especially if Bucky's, not back soon. And I heard Mike might actually play this week, which would be kind of wild. But
they need him badly.
We need him as bad as you could possibly need a receiver.
If he plays, he's gonna cook because Detroit's secondary is gone.
That's such a Mike Evans game too.
Brian Branch got himself suspended, so
he did. Mike Evans is just like in a that kind of game against the Lions where they have history now too. Like he's just gonna cook them. I feel that he's just gotta be healthy. All right, let's go to the next game. We have Cheese Fries, Long Gamers in a real tight battle. Cheese Fries take the week at 122 to 116. Very interesting week for your team. Dobbins not really a great game that fucking whole game was a disaster. We talked about it on the podcast or on the Discord. What a disaster of a game that was.
Lost fantasy games because of that game, and I lost real betting money on that game too.
I am so done with London games. I'm so tired. I don't want to see them. I don't want to wake up for them. I don't want to do anything. And nothing to do with it. They're annoying for fantasy. They screwed Scavelli out of Jaylen Warren in another league because of that stupid start time. injury in pregame warmups when nobody was awake. Like it's just stupid, and I'm just really tired of it. And it's not getting better. It seems like they just keep stacking more games in London. So I don't know. I don't think it's stopping, but I really don't like it.
In 2 or 3 years, there's going to be one every week. Just get ready.
That's just brutal.
Yep.
I'm not excited for that at all.
I will say for my team, shout out Drake May. He's awesome. He's so good.
Drake May is ripping it up right now. I think you could argue that he's kind of in MVP consideration at this point. Like, I mean, which is kind of weird to say.
When you're a quarterback with stats, a winning record, and not like a skill guy that everybody's like freaking out about, like that's what's gonna happen. So,
yeah, I mean, he's just like I think he's just gonna be really good, man. Like I just feel I think we both liked him quite a bit heading into the year when he was a rookie as well.
I had him in Caleb as QB 1A and B.
I mean, he's QB 6 as it stands right now, and he's going to be getting an incredible schedule coming up. Tennessee, Cleveland, Falcons secondary is beatable. Bucks is very beatable. Jets is very beatable. Cincy is very beatable. Like that's a strong schedule for a guy who kind of went through a little bit of, at least the last couple of weeks, with like tougher-ish teams to play, like Buffalo. Yeah. Pittsburgh is
first place New England Patriots.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Without a running game, they don't even have a running game. So
no, it's awful. Pass pro is pretty good though.
So. It seems to be working pass pro wise. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about some other guys in this game. Josh Jacobs had a huge game with 93 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yep. Added tips to his face that was going to happen on our last podcast. Not surprising.
Sure did. I mean, since he's just a fucking dream matchup at this point, absolute dream. And then you got on Tibbs' side to go through a couple other players. We had Jackson Smith and Jigba, who is an absolute monster. Sam Darnold throws the best deep ball I've seen in the league this year. They have incredible chemistry. I mean, he's number 2 on the year at this point. Like, this is as big of a breakout as you could possibly imagine for him. So, great year for him for the Cheese Fries. Rachaad White picked up 60 yards and a touchdown, which was kind of nice. And then Jalen Waddle actually had a nice little game as well at 9.8 points. So that was pretty good as well. And then for your squad, the Javonte Williams at 3 kind of hurts. So you kind of expect a little more there in that matchup, I'm sure.
Yeah, the Carolina run defense pretty good this year, turns out.
They're functioning. Yeah, they're doing fine.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. 5 catches for 5 yards is just what the hell.
Yeah, I don't know what that. Drake London ripped though.
It's hard not to talk about like the Island games on Monday night or like Sunday night, but like I lost by less than 6 points, and Drake London didn't score that touchdown at the end of the first half, and that just bums me out.
Yeah, it's tough. That's tough. I mean,
or the fact that James Cook literally carried an entire drive down the field, and then Ray Davis came into the game and scored a touchdown immediately.
I mean, Algier did it in the other game as well. Like just the vultures on Monday night.
Yeah, it's funny is like I told myself like going into Monday night, I was like, if I get to 130, I've got a decent chance of winning this game, and 130 would have absolutely won that, and it's a bummer. So
yeah, and I mean even like Bill. He got the volume finally, but then had that weird fumble in that game and didn't capitalize on a touchdown or anything. That kind of made that a weird one as well. But Tucker Kraft getting 2 for 2, 43 yards and a touchdown is kind of his MO at this point, which is nice. Amon-Ra didn't have a great game, and between Amon-Ra and James Cook having a combined 13 points, like that's really kind of where the loss feels worse because it just all you needed was a couple extra, like reasonable plays from them, and you're probably in the victory circle there.
Yeah, I would say the other disappointing one was Devontae Adams. Just 39 yards against Baltimore's defense is kind of tough for how bad that defense has been the last few weeks. But I mean, it is what it is,
I got to tell you, Josh Allen last couple of weeks hasn't been all that great. Like obviously this past week was a tough one with the 2 picks, but he's thrown picks in 3 straight games at this point.
They blitzed the absolute shit out of him.
I think that's the formula. I think they found it. I mean, like we just got to make it so that he doesn't have any time. Like
you got to be able to play man on the back end, but because they don't have a good receiver that can beat man, unless it's Khalil Shakir like breaking a tackle or making somebody miss, like that's kind of the game plan against them.
It's got to be that, or just throw up to Keon Coleman, which they haven't really done a whole lot of.
Well, yeah, getting suspended like by the team and shit. Like I don't know.
He always seemed like a bit of a dope though, so I'm not totally surprised.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to the next game. We have Plague versus Lambs. The Plague get another victory. Unfortunately, probably for them, they probably didn't want to get this victory. But another 100-point performance for the Plague in a mini tank bowl here against the Lambs with 78 points. So Lambs got to be pretty happy to drop to 0-6 here in this matchup. Let's quickly kind of run through, see if we can find a couple guys here. Brian Thomas had another solid kind of bounce backy game here, which was nice to see against a decent opponent as well.
Did you see the drop that he had in that game?
Horrible.
Every single like middle of the field like target, like it feels like he's dropping right now.
I think he's scared. I think he's just scared.
He's scared.
That's just it.
Right.
And maybe that corrects itself at some point, but it doesn't feel good right now. I'll say that. Like I haven't redraft and I saw him drop that pass. It's like, here we go again. This could be another.
I mean, that just brings it back to the whole Trevor Lawrence debate that we had. I don't know if it was. I think it was the most recent podcast we did with Tibbs. But like, you've got a guy that can't catch the ball over the intermediate middle of the field, and you've got a guy that's learning to play receiver.
Yeah, it's just like, that's why Parker Washington is at least reliable.
Yeah, it just looks not right sometimes. So.
Yeah, and they're still trying to I think that whole Jags team is still figuring things out. Like they're just I don't think it's going to happen this year, but maybe next year they'll kind of put things more together. But yeah, kind of this is a terrible running back game just all around. I mean, obviously Dan's team is really hurting at running back, but managed to get 6 out of Michael Carter. And then both of James's rookies who I thought were both in very good spots to have good games, didn't really do anything. So that kind of stunk for him. Kendrick Bourne, the Bourne legacy on the trade block. We should mention James has lots of players on the trade block. The auction house is open. He's even giving you the terms to the Isaiah Davis trade. I love giving the terms in the public. I think that's awesome. That might be the first time ever.
Not even an unreasonable trade ask either.
I think it's totally reasonable. Yeah. And I would be lying to you if I didn't look at my picks to see if I had a third just to pull it off. Because but I don't, so I can't do it. But I thought about it though, because I already had Allen, and I was like, maybe I can corner this backfield a little bit until they draft somebody next year.
Well, you love to corner a backfield.
It always works, and they're all terrible. That's the thing. You really shouldn't want anyone. Who else for Dan Squatty? So Romeo Dobbs 5 for 55, nothing crazy. Jake Ferguson is kind of keeping it rolling this year. He's been really good. He's the number 2 tight end on the year. That trade has kind of worked out for him. He got a lot younger in that Kelsey deal, so that really has kind of worked out for him. Mm-hmm. So I like that move for Dan.
And then Kayshon Boutte.
Kayshon Boutte, we need to talk about him. He's been actually good in these contested catch situations. It's just going to be like consistently, can he get these kind of looks basically? And if they're going to keep feeding him the ball, but I mean, I think he's a solid receiver. I liked him coming out of the draft. I thought he had talent. He was just kind of a dope.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about like Romeo Dobbs types. Like he fits right in there to me where he's never going to be like a superstar, but he's not going to get taken off the field. So.
Yeah, he's like a low end 2, high end 3-ish kind of guy, like where you can put him kind of on the outside boundaries, use him in the red zone. Very similar. Yeah, that's a pretty good comparison. I think with the schedule they got coming up, I think there's going to be some more boom weeks here for Boutte, and I think he's definitely a tradable asset for Dan's team. I think he's put him on the block already if he already hasn't, but
yeah,
he feels like a guy that might be worth acquiring over the next couple of weeks at least. So
feels like a Scavelli
that feels very Scavelli like, and the name is tremendous. We shouldn't pass over the Bourne legacy. I know we quickly mentioned, but he's had back-to-back 142-yard games, which I love.
Exactly 142 yards.
I think that's so cool, by the way. So I love that. So I'm hoping for another 142-yard game this week because I'm probably going to start him in redraft, so that should be fun. Yeah. Keon Coleman 3 of 6 for 11 yards. I mean, this is just
they line him at X, and he's not an X receiver. I don't care what the hell his size is.
You've been saying that since he got drafted. So
yeah, before he got drafted, he's a big slot. He is literally he's like who's a good big slot that's big? I can't think of any off the top of my head.
A good big slot. Well, I mean, back in the day, it was like Marcus Colston.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Like, I mean, he was a little bigger, but I mean, he was the same. Yeah, that's what he should be doing, though.
Yeah, he's got good like football feel for like finding like empty spaces in zone and stuff, but he just doesn't separate. So
Yeah,
like
I mean, he's gonna have to like just be a like a big power forward type of guy and just catch the ball in the paint kind of thing. So
Mhm.
it's just not doesn't feel good right now. For the guys that drafted him and stuff. So, all right, let's go to our next game. We got Elk versus Muskrats. Elk get the win. Another spirited effort though from the Muskrats with 111 points to the Elks 134. Big games from Patrick Mahomes and Kamani Vidal. Huge out. That's going to kill our kicker bet, by the way, our kicker research for between the Alex's running backs versus the mid-tier kicker. Huge week for Vidal. And right now, before this trade, it seems like he's going to kind of stay in that role. So that's kind of at least an interesting note because he might become tradable for Alex, who absolutely needs the picks. So
trade him immediately.
if
Coming off
somebody offers anything,
Miami's
really,
defense, so
that's true. And I think he's got Indy, Minnesota, Tennessee coming up. So kind of
yeah,
some tougher ones maybe, but Trey Tucker has still kind of been a thing. He's been pretty solid this year. He's number 9 receiver on the year through 6 weeks, which I would never have bet on that ever. But here we are. He also started Tez Johnson. I was like, that's an awesome start. I love that.
Backtracking to Mahomes a little bit, if you're like Dustin right now, what do you think?
I think Dustin needs a quarterback. I really do. I know we said it on the last podcast talking about Trevor Lawrence and whatnot, but Dustin needs a quarterback. I think there's multiple teams out there right now that have quarterbacks that they would trade to Dustin or anybody really, but specifically Dustin because of his situation. But I think there's a lot of guys that have number 2s or even number 3s that could be used to maybe upgrade other positions or get draft picks. For Alex's team, clearly he needs the draft picks. Mahomes feels like an obvious choice based on his history and like how good he is.
He like Dustin once again still needs to consolidate a little bit as far
Absolutely.
as picks and players. Like you could see like a maybe not like a poo-poo platter trade for Mahomes, but like 2 or 3 like decent assets for Mahomes, and I think you could get that done because Alex needs assets.
I mean, he needs
Dustin does
picks
not need
and he needs
assets.
players. Dustin has both of those, and he has good picks too, which Alex must be interested in. So, I mean, I agree there, and I think there's other teams, at least that would kick the tires on Mahomes at this point just to see what it would cost because I mean he could be an upgrade over a couple other quarterbacks on their rosters as well. So
Yeah, I just think there's a shift happening again in Kansas City where the defense is starting to tail off a little bit from where it's been the last couple of years, and the offense is starting to move.
yeah, I mean he's the number 1 quarterback as it stands right now. So that's he's kind of back. He's having a great year. He is rushing for touchdowns again, which is nice. He's got 4 on the year, I believe. So
I did not realize that
he's
yesterday.
He's actually been like moving around quite a bit. So that's also helping his value. He's still only 30 years old, and he's getting Rasheed Rice back this week as well. So it's like it feels like
hype video and all.
That I mean, I can't believe that shit.
That's crazy work.
It is actually insane. After wrecking 10 people's cars, like what are we doing here? But I can't say I'm surprised in any way, shape, or form. So
combining that with like Kelsey and other players wearing the free
Rashid free him from what?
From his own dumb shit. Like
he just fucking wrecked a car and almost killed people. Like what do you? I don't. He's that whole situation is it's absolutely insane. That being said, he's going to be a boost for Mahomes. So like, I don't think there's ever been a better time in recent years to trade Mahomes. Like, I mean, literally the past couple of years, he's been kind of in that lower QB1 range. Now he's kind of back where he should be based on his talent level.
Yeah. You get like 3 or 4 players from Dustin's team that really matches up with whatever Keep Trade Cut says and just say it's fine.
And should Vince be interested at this point?
He should. Didn't he have Mahomes? Was he the one that had Mahomes? Oh no.
Tibbs. No, it was Tibbs, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, for Vince's team, we're talking about, Pettis, Kyler Murray, and Cousins, and somebody else maybe. So I mean, like, I would take Mahomes over all those. It's just a matter of like what you got to give up. But that would be an upgrade for sure for his team and help him out. So I just think there's a lot of options out there at this point, which we didn't see. you got the Mahomes going against a solid Detroit defense, getting 37 points. Like, I don't think there's been a better time to trade him than like right about now. So let's keep moving down. Any interesting games here? Ashton Genty is kind of keeping the train rolling here for the last few weeks now. Kind of turning into that guy that we thought he was going to be probably towards the beginning of the year. So he's starting to pick it up a little bit better here. So I like that. Ekbuka got hurt. That's a tough one for the Elk, considering how incredible he's been this year. Hopefully he comes back relatively soon for both the Elk and the Bucks. Any other interesting? So Tyler Warren's keeping it rolling as well. He's the number one tight end at this point now. Two touchdowns in the last couple games. Basically he's good for like 60 yards at this point, at the very least, which is awesome.
It's really good.
He's really good. And Olave has been picking it up recently too with this. He's just a target hog in this offense. I mean, he's getting 10 targets a week basically.
Mm-hmm.
So another guy that's interesting. Ladd picked it up with a 100-yard and a touchdown performance in the wake of Quentin Johnston not playing, so that was nice for him. Starting to pick it up here a little bit, which is nice. I think that's probably going to be it for this game. Let's keep moving to the Bombers versus the Lionheads. Lionheads get a 158-112 victory. A really good week for the Lionheads. We're talking to him in Discord during the games, the early window. Bryce Young had a nice little game against the Cowboys, which probably should have been expected because of how bad their defense is. So that's, if there is a time to start Bryce Young, it's probably in that game. Jonathan Taylor just keeps ripping it up, and then Bijan is so good. I love watching Bijan. Yep. And even though I still am happy with the deal that I made, I still wish I had him. It's just like, I feel like he's just so good. And it's like, that's the guy you just love to have.
Just can't imagine Bijan in the backfield just looking out at the safeties for the Bills in that game. Like, oh, these guys.
I'm going to snatch some ankles in this game. Yeah. He is so dominant. And he's taken it to a whole nother level in the receiving game this year, which is like, I heard in another podcast on Josh and Hayden's podcast, he is their Todd Gurley right now. Like, this is what Todd Gurley was doing, in that McVay tree offense, kind of like where Robinson comes from. So, like, he's just absolutely crushing it. And he has not had a single game this year under 11 points.
I mean, he's already had his bye. He's leading in the NFL in total yards.
He's number 3 with a bye.
With bye.
That's insane. That's crazy.
I think he's on pace for 2,800 total yards.
That's actually crazy. That's really great. I mean, that is. So, he's got some easier games coming up too. You got a really depleted 49ers defense with no Fred Warner, God. and then you get Miami.
Oh my!
And I know Vince said he was going to circle that one on his calendar. We might have to have a watch party just for that. That might be a 35 burger easily.
The only thing stopping him from scoring that many points is if they just decide to give Algier the ball just for funsies.
Yeah, maybe they're just up a lot and just say, let's get this other guy the ball. And now another, not great week here for the Vince receiving core. No McLaurin again. Zay Flowers, another tough game. He has really done nothing of much value up since that first game of the year. 7 points here, 7 points there kind of thing. But he's just kind of falling back into the Zay Flowers that we expected. Wide receiver 24. Like, this is just what it is for him. Unfortunately, with no Lamar, that's not helping things. But
yeah, tough to judge when there's no Lamar.
But Rush out there, that's never
he's
good.
Coming. He's coming back soon.
Trey McBride's been great again. This was one of his better weeks of the year with the touchdown. DeAndre Swift, we talked about him earlier in the podcast, had a great week, but like Sean said, it was probably a little bit more of the blocking than him.
It's one of the best offensive line performances I've watched all year.
It did feel like he barely got touched, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Justin with the Eddie Pinheiro 18-point performance off of the waivers, I believe. So I love that. Let's see anybody on. So performance-wise on the Bombers side, Marvin left early with the injury. Juwan Jennings banged up, only had 7 yards. Kyle Pitts sucks. Charbonnet, I hate to do it to him, but he's just not.
I will. If I'm going to throw a shade, it's probably going to be a disappointing game for Jordan Love going in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think that's that should have been a blow-up spot.
Yeah, Cincinnati's actually been okay on like run defense, but like they've really given up a lot of a lot of big plays through the air. So I don't know. I think that one's got to be disappointing for a guy that's kind of a big play hunter in Jordan Love. Like that doesn't feel good.
No, and then of course Scattaboo. I mean, what a great game from him. He was awesome, and he's going to continue to be awesome. Yeah, not a whole lot else here worth mentioning, but the Bombers do fall to 4-2. Lionheads improved to 3-3, which was really a must-win. Which you just don't want to be 2-4. It just doesn't feel good. About midway through the season here, so a big win for the Lionheads. All right, so that's going to wrap up last week's games. Let's get into week 7. We have some very good matchups again this week. Specifically 2 games I'm looking at, two games specifically, but then James let me know that next week, I'll quickly preview it. We have another Tank Bowl game, Lambs Muskrats week 8. So that's going to be a fun one. On top of having Fries Elk, which is a good game.
I believe week 8 is Bipocalypse this year for the NFL. I think there's.
Is it really? What a great week for that then. Man,
yeah.
What an exciting week it's going to be. Yeah, we have Armadillos, Bombers, Long Gamers, Battle Axes, Lionheads, Plague. I mean, that's a very good week, so I'm looking forward to week 8. We'll get to that, though. So starting off at the top, it's myself, the Armadillos versus the Lionheads. This is another good game. Just a quality matchup here overall. I'm getting Jefferson and Nico Collins back from the byes this past week, which feels really good.
After scoring 180 points. Nice.
After scoring 188 points without those guys, it does. Yeah, that works for me. That's not a problem. And then we're going to have to see how this Rico Dowdle situation plays out. They get a Jets game, which
you got to start somebody.
I mean, it's just kind of, you would think it's going to work. Rashee Rice, first game back against Vegas, who's not a great defense.
I see the report from today of like there will be no easing in for Rashee Rice. They're literally going right to him.
They should though. Why wouldn't they? Like he's been healthy.
He's technically coming off of a torn knee still.
I mean, yeah, but like he practiced all off season. He was in training camp, so I mean, I don't think it's really much of an issue. But yeah, they're gonna abuse him, I'm sure. So, and then Odunze against New Orleans feels pretty good. So it should just be. Like, this is kind of the offense. The only thing is I'm deciding between starting Caleb Williams against New Orleans and trying to decide that or Hurts against Minnesota, which I don't feel like is a great matchup for Hurts if he gets rushed a lot. So I know they like to send the house at times, and I know Hurts is not good against pressure. So I'm thinking Caleb might be a better start this week, but we'll have to make the decision soon. And then for Vince's side, I don't know if he's set his roster at this point yet, but the matchup for Bryce Young against the Jets does feel pretty good at this point. Jonathan Taylor, Bijan, those are 2 locked and loaded guys. Any other things you're looking at here? Terry might be playing. He's at least limited today in practice.
He needs it so bad.
He really needs it. Pacheco was part of our discussion earlier in the day as well. At least he got the touches this past week. I mean, like he got 77% of the snaps, but did nothing much with it. Just kind of a weird year for him, man. Montgomery against the Bucks. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is I feel like it's probably gonna be. I think quarterback's going to be an important matchup in this game just because I don't know who I'm starting at, and I feel like Bryce Young is probably good for 20 at least against the Jets. I think he's getting Coker back this week as well, which helps his cause.
We all love Coker.
And I'm here for the Coke Nation. So, all right, let's go to our next game. We got Long Gamers against the Lambs. Sean, I think this is one you got to win for sure.
And then you look at him potentially getting CeeDee Lamb back, and then there are guys in his lineup that are going to put up points. So
I got to tell you, this is a scary little game.
I looked at our matchup this morning. I was like, huh, fuck.
Yeah, I feel that same way. I'm looking at it like, wait a second. Quinshon against Miami.
That's terrifying. That could be 150. And
Jordan Mason's solid coming off the bye. Brian Thomas has picked it up. The Bourne Legacy is getting 142 a game. Lamb is Lamb. Hunter Henry's been fine. Lamb is Lamb. I think we might have a little upset alert here, Sean. I hate to say it, but we've got a shot.
Yeah. I would love to see
James
Lamb
doesn't want to
out
hear
one more-
that, but
Yeah, I would love to see Lamb out one more week. That would be great.
I do love Bill though. Bill against Dallas. That's gotta hit. It's gotta hit, Sean.
It's gotta. I mean,
That's gotta be it.
it's the 4:25 start game, so a lot of people are gonna be watching it. So you would hope so.
I need Bill to
See
hit.
how it
I mean,
goes.
redraft specifically, I got him and I need it.
Yeah,
You got both the running backs in that game, so that'll be fun.
yeah, I like both of them in that game.
I sure
got
do.
fucking Devontae Adams in jolly old England. Here we go.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
I don't want to. I don't even want to do it. All right, let's go to the next game. Battle Axe's Plague. Plague have been feisty. I'll say that. This is another one where it wouldn't totally surprise me to see another Plague win. Battle Axes are banged up if they don't have. He's got Kittle in the lineup for some reason. Maybe I guess if he might play this week, that would be kind of surprising.
I think they activated him out of the IR slots. Or
Interesting.
I believe so.
Well, if he plays, I guess you got to play him. And then he's got Evans in there right now as well, hoping that he plays. So this is very injury contingent, but
yeah, I mean,
we're starting to
Hank. I mean, they're throwing to McCaffrey. They're throwing to Bourne. I mean, Pearsall may or may not play.
It sounds like Pearsall's not going to play.
So
I don't know.
Did he practice today?
I think he was limited. I'm looking at Dan's team now. Let's see what we got going on over here. We got Danny Dimes. Running back situation is still terrible. But DK's been playing good ball. Really good ball recently. He's had 2 straight 15-point performances or more. Jordan Addison is always
good yards after the catch for Mike Atmosphere.
Yes, he's been awesome after the catch. Addison's been 10 points in both the games he's played. Romeo Dobbs can easily have a blow-up week. I mean, this is Ferguson's playing good ball. Bootie's playing good ball.
Darren Wallen's Dobbs and Addison are such great tank commander receivers.
Excellent tank commanders because they could just crush. Yeah, I love that. And then you got Minnesota versus Philly. This is another one. I think we might have an upset alert here. We might have to sound the alarms for this week. There could be a couple of upsets here, depending on what happens with the Scavelli's health situation. Very interesting. Yeah. I will say, though, hold on a second. I didn't notice something. Jaden Daniels is playing Dallas. That could be mass point. I mean, that could be stupid numbers. So
yeah, if Terry goes, then and
we're gonna fire up the Battle Axes, I think, at that point. All right, but still an interesting game. All right, let's go to the next game. We got Baton Rouge Bombers against Elk. This is one of the better matchups of the week, in my opinion. 4-2 teams squaring off, similar projections. Both teams kind of, I don't want to say have bad quarterback situations right now, but they kind of do in a way. So I think it's a pretty even matchup overall, frankly, at this point. So
I don't see a top 12 startable quarterback in either of these games. If it's anybody, it's probably
love Lawrence Stroud.
I might go with Lawrence just because he's been running. But
man, those London games though, those have a chance to kill you.
Unless Dylan Gabriel throws a couple of touchdowns because it's Miami's defense. I don't know, man. But I'm not starting Gabriel.
Nope, not a damn chance. Receiving wise, Ibuka's still in the lineup. He's not going to play. Nope. I imagine it's going to be Ladd in that spot, which he's got down here.
Yeah, plenty of receivers to throw in there on his team. Not a problem.
I'm a little concerned with Justin's flex and tight end situation comparatively to Dustin's. Kyle Pitts, I can't do it at this point. Kenny Gainwell took a little bit of a back seat again. ETN had a tough week last couple weeks. Charbonnet, you're starting the whole backfield there, just hoping for the touchdown. Who else does Justin have to play?
It's not a lot.
Sterling Shepard. Hollywood Brown's kind of taking a back seat. Ricky Pearsall still injured. Yeah, it's tough, man.
Sterling Shepard is very startable in that game.
I will say, if Jacoby Myers gets traded, having both of the Raiders receivers, one of those guys will get a bump, I would assume.
What's hilarious is Besh played Like if you go to Besh's game logs, he played 75% of the snaps.
Man,
And
he's doing. You know what?
did
That's
something.
vintage 2023 Alec Pierce right there. Just
So
all cardio.
that just tells that's another thing that just tells me like they're trying to put different players in the field now because they're looking for answers. Like that's just another reason that Jacoby Myers might be
Yeah,
gone. So
I think he's gone. Who do you got in this game, Sean?
uh
I think
man.
I like the Elks flex options much better than I like the options for and tight end for the
I
Bombers.
yeah, I mean I'm gonna go with the Elk.
All right, and that would push the Elk to 5-2, which would be an excellent start for this with this squad with all these options.
A guy sitting here telling Dustin it's probably time to trade for Pat Mahomes if you want to be serious this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think just looking at. I mean, we quickly can look at his pick situation again here while we're here.
All
I mean, he's got so many. I mean, we're talking, and I'll consider first and seconds premiums at this point because we don't know where they'll land. But we're talking potentially 1-1, 1-1, 3 firsts this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds, 6 seconds this year. So we're talking probably out of the top 20. We're talking at least 7, 8 of these now, 8, maybe even 9, which is crazy. 2 firsts next year, 3 seconds next year. I mean, the assets that are there to make moves. It's just I don't know. He's just kind of in a wait and see. It seems like right now. But yeah, I mean, they're playing good football. They've got 739 points for, which I believe is 5th or 6th best in the league. So they're right where they're supposed to be to contend. So they've had some injuries, but they're still making it work even without Neighbors. So very interesting. Let's go to our last game, which isn't much of a game, to be honest with you, is the Chili Cheese Fries against the Muskrats. Feels like a pretty easy one we wanted to pick there. I do want to mention the Muskrats a little bit just here for the trade piece of it that we were talking about with Mahomes. He does get Las Vegas, another very beatable team through the air. So that could be another catalyst for maybe a move there.
If DJ Moore does not play, just keep an eye out for Luther Burden.
Yeah, Luther Burden, he had a pretty solid little week last week too with 4 for 51. So he's on the come up a little bit here. And I think he just looks good when he has the ball in these games. Like he just looks the part. So I feel like it's only a matter of time before we really start seeing him getting involved. And then also Jordan Whittington is going to be a much more viable asset this week, potentially without Puka. So
yeah, Quentin Johnson probably back this week and gets Indy, whose secondary is not very good.
No, they're not. And that's a couple of very good matchups then in that for these lower end players here. And then Tez Johnson is a very viable player at this point for the Bucs. So should be interesting at least to see how many points he puts up. But the Cheese Fries really should have this one, no problem.
Yes.
Yeah, Deebo Samuel against Dallas. Breece Hall against Carolina. That feels good in theory. Yeah, not much to say there. I think we can end it right there, Sean. Good podcast this week. Good trade discussion. We will see you for week 8, which, as we mentioned earlier, has lots and lots of excellent matchups and the Tank Bowl between James and Alex. So it should be a really fun one. We also will have James on the podcast next week.